Hey there, sports fans. This is the ECG Golf Club. Welcome to the Weekly Hackers Podcast.
Now watch this drive.
Oh yeah, it's time for the second episode of the Hackers Podcast. I am the official Sandbucket supervisor of the ECG Golf Club. I'm the Ashman. Also joining us today, the ECG Golf Club president, the man with the best car spot in the yard, Damain Griffis.
Good evening, Ash. Nice to be with you.
Also with us today, a special guest. I just pulled him straight out of the AGM at the ECG Golf Club. He's busy, he's sweaty, he's a flexible man. It's the ECG Golf Club Bursar, Chris Sonego. Welcome, my friend.
Thanks, Ash. Great to be here, and good to be with you as well, Damo.
Well, good on you, Chris. Love to have you with us tonight, mate.
Always good. A lot of respect for Zook. Hey, straight off the bat, obviously we love golf. We're going to talk about a lot of golf, obviously. Did you see what happened like yesterday with Rory McIlroy? His 180-degree flip. Do you know anything what happened there?
I don't know about this, so I really need to be brought up to speed. I'd be keen to hear more. I'm always hot and cold with Rory, so
Rory, I just don't like the guy.
Just quickly, bro, I just acknowledge that I'm joining for what we call Warramai country as well tonight. So acknowledge country before you get into it. But Rory, I blow hot and cold with Rory. So what's happened? What's happened?
Chris, did you see that?
Yeah, the big thing overnight really is the PGA Tour has reached a deal with Strategic Sports Group. So think of Strategic Sports Group as a amalgamation of a lot of really, really rich white guys who own a lot of American sports teams. And now they're seeing this feud with LIV as an opportunity for them to get into the golfing space. So they've struck a deal with the PGA Tour in which they will contribute up to $3 billion dollars into a new for-profit entity. Remember that the PGA is currently a not-for-profit entity, but a new for-profit entity which will be created called PGA Tour Enterprises. So the initial injection is around $1.5 billion. And so that will really is a stepping stone towards the merger between the PGA Tour and LIV. Basically, in the releases that have made their way into news outlets such as ESPN, for which I was reading from at the moment, it's saying that this deal with SSG allows for co-investment from Saudi Arabia's public investment fund. And obviously there's unnecessary regulatory approvals there. But this is probably the first step. And as Ash alluded to, it needed approval from the players who are part of the PGA Tour Policy Board. If you remember, Rory was a member of that board and has since left in December and has perhaps become a little more vocal since his departure. But the Policy Board unanimously approved the deal. And some of the notable players on that Tour Policy Board include Adam Scott, Jordan Spieth, and the one and only Tiger Woods. So some of the big names are behind this and have given it the green light. So it's certainly be interesting to see where it will head.
Zook, do you think
yes.
Why did Rory flip, you think? Because he was so against LIV. He was acting like a little bitch, really, for months, like a year, about anti-LIV. And then all of a sudden, about 2 weeks ago, he said something in support when John Rahm signed, but then it seems like he's totally flipped. I feel like there must be some huge incentive there financially for him.
Reading between the lines, there potentially is. One of the things that was clearly obviously attractive to LIV defectors was the cash up front. One of the unique things with this arrangement with SSG is that there is scope for players to get equity within this new venture. So having an ownership stake may well be something that's led to Rory's flip. But in quoting here in terms of the commissioner, this is what he said as part of this statement. By
this
making
is why we have you
PGA
as the person, just quietly. This is why you are the person.
Oh, this is so good. This is so
Sorry,
good.
I cut you off. Keep going.
I feel like I'm in a news report. It's wonderful. This is really
Brilliant.
high quality correspondence.
And no one's mentioned that fucking amazing mustache you got there. That
You
is
are looking
beautiful.
You are looking good, brother. It must be the Pilates too this evening.
It's working well. It's doing all the right things. But yeah, the tour commissioner in his statement announcing this deal said, by making the PGA Tour members owners of the league, we strengthen the collective investment of our players in the success of the PGA Tour. So nice. I think there's some truth there. As soon as players have skin in the game, they're certainly more incentivized there. And I can only think that Rory has seen that. And that's probably why he's kind of, done a bit of a flip. But then again, not being part of the tour policy board probably allows him to voice his personal opinions more so, rather than being a puppet for the tour, so to speak. So I guess that's my uneducated opinion on the matter.
I think we've got Chris here as news correspondent in future.
Get him a job on 9. Let me call Eddie.
I've got an idea that I want to run just related to this. Okay. Do you think there's an opportunity to get MJ, Mr. Jordan, involved? It's not as funny as it sounds, because I was watching the new NASCAR series on Netflix, and Michael Jordan has a stake in a NASCAR team, and we know he's a huge golf fan and a very good golfer. Is that right? Maybe he needs to become one of the equity owners in this future model.
He might have been like a 3 golfer or a 3-4 handicap, maybe, or I'm not sure. Michael,
I'm not sure of his handicap, but there is a bit of, how can I say, one-upmanship between him and LeBron. And by virtue of this deal, the fact that Fenway Sports Group is part of Strategic Sports Group, LeBron James will probably have a bit of a stake in the PGA Tour. He's a small minority shareholder within there. He has a small stake in Fenway Sports, who own Red Sox and Liverpool, and you may well have seen him, fly the flag for those 2 franchises and the like. So, maybe that will incentivize MJ to get involved, to get one back on LeBron.
Nice.
Have you had a look at what's happening in the PGA this week? Just speaking about that, they're at Pebble Beach this week, I believe.
Correct. It's probably one of my favourite events for the calendar in terms of the Pro-Am. Obviously,
have you had a look at the amateurs there? Damo, have you seen this at all?
Oh, this is the Pro-Am one, isn't it? It's always a bit, if I remember rightly, it's always a bit chilly this time of year too. They're often occasionally
very windy. I did check a bit of the weather today, and I saw some Tony Finau teeing off into a big wind. So, but can you imagine being an amateur there, like, and getting invited to play at Pebble Beach?
Terrifying.
It'd be terrifying. But
I'll cut you off there in terms of the invite. There is a check that needs to be cut, and it's not a small one apparently. So
to enter into it.
So based on some research I did, last year, before the kind of tournament got reformatted, this year's a little different, and I might be able to touch on that a bit later on. But they were saying that it was up to $40,000 US to participate. So that's a fair chunk of change.
Does that make that the highest green fee in the world?
Probably does. I think it probably does. I've actually heard Pebble Beach is up there anyway. It is,
but the beauty of it is it's a public course. So you can live out your golf fantasies there whenever you want, as long as you're willing to slide that credit card through the through the FPOS machine. But it's available.
How does that work? Does Bill Murray rock up to the pro shop and have to pay
his gold Amex and
Interesting.
Or is there
look-
some sort of web logging where you got to double click the tee time? I choose Ricky Fowler.
That's the interesting thing. I don't know how the pairings work because there's some interesting pairings and there's some interesting people in there. Like
From a lame Aussie, Chris, I don't know most of them, but like you mentioned, there was a big entry fee. There was a lot of pro sports there, right?
Correct. A lot of ex-NFL, NBA, or one that I can see. Pau Gasol. That'll be interesting. The 7-foot guy roaming around the course.
Extra. I wonder how long his shaft is.
He plays off 10. He plays off 10, so he's no hack. Buster Posey representing, the MLB, but a long list of
Tom Brady will be there for sure.
Correct, he's there, but I'm sure they don't cut the check for the entry fee. I'm sure it's they're there representing brands and sponsors and all those kind of things. But there's plenty of titans of industry in terms of as a Denver Nuggets fan, I saw
Mark Zuckerberg.
One of the Cronkies there. So
Zuckerberg's busy in the Senate or something at the moment, isn't he? Senate
he's way late at the moment. Pebble Beach has an amazing par 3, doesn't it? What's that famous par 3? I don't know if it's 100 meters, is it? Downhill.
No, it's very short.
Tiny, postage stamp. I think Tom Watson did something famous on that hole back in the day to maybe win a US Open, or he might have chipped in or something. But anyway, I could be very wrong there. But
yeah, I think it's a par 3, and I think it heads into the wind. And depending what time of the day, what time of the season, I've heard it can take 3 or 4 different clubs to get there.
Wow.
So you can imagine if it was 100 meters into the wind, if it was anything like bloody Sawtel, that that pitching wedge turns into a 7-iron real quick.
Real quick.
Well, the wind was so bad that they, in the practice round, didn't allow spectators in today because conditions were so bad. So,
that's incredible.
Yeah, I think it would have been a real challenge for the amateurs, let alone the professionals on the course today.
One notable name I saw in there was Condoleezza Rice.
Yes.
Nice.
You said she plays a bit of sport.
She has. I think so. She has connections with, I believe she's an alumni of Stanford, who has a pretty good reputation in terms of being a good sporting college. I believe that's who Tiger Woods is the alumni of. Could be wrong. But also, most recently, I believe she's been a representative on the committee which selects and ranks the college football teams for the end of year college football championship. So
that's where she got her entry from.
I think she's a bit of a sports nut, so not surprising she enjoys a bit of a hack. And off 16, better than me, so I can't criticise. But
hey, here's an idea for you, boys. Here's an idea. If you had a pro-am tournament and you had to have two other guys with you or girls in your trio, who would they be? Who would you take with you? And you're looking to win.
Oh, so they have to be a good golfer. Or
you
you think
one good golfer,
one celebrity and one golfer?
Yeah.
Wow. Because I'm immediately going to, and this is funny, isn't it? Might be the way my mind thinks. I'm merely thinking, I want the conversation.
Yeah.
I want to play with a couple of interesting people and chat with them.
Yeah.
So, geez, can I park that one, Ash, and we'll revisit that in a future episode? Because give me a chance to think about that. I think we need to do that. Maybe that could become a regular segment. Who's your four-ball? Who's your favourite four-ball?
What I really liked, what I saw today in between booking stuff at work, I do like Cam Smith. I think he's so genuine. I saw him today. There was a practice round because the live starts tomorrow, I think. I saw him on one of the holes with his entourage. I think it was the new guy with the funny ear, Lucas Herbert, is that his name? He was standing on bridge showing Cam Smith there was fish in the pond. So Cam Smith literally in a practice round, out of his bag, he's pulled out a fishing rod and he's done some fly fishing mid-round.
That's fantastic.
mid-round. I think that's the sort of shit I would like to play with. Someone who's
cool.
really good. He'd probably be my pro. Someone really good, but good fun to be around.
Yes. So he's a fisherman as well. He's a keen fisherman.
Apparently. Well, he's Aussie as they come.
He just likes to throw out a line.
You've thrown out a line surely in your lifetime, Damo. You know how to bait a hook.
That's
pretty Australian.
Been a while. I mean, remember we used to give the Hawkesbury River a bit of a
yes.
You
got plenty of stingrays.
Lots of stingrays. And dropped my rod over the side as well. But that's a whole other story.
Actually, do you remember that day at Hawkesbury River?
Yes.
We were in those little off-board motors.
Yeah.
Dinghy. We probably drove. What do you do on a boat? Do you drive or you direct it?
I don't know.
We drove
I don't know.
piloted downstream for about an hour.
Yes.
And had
Very
some
slowly.
fishing and whatnot. Damo put the anchor down, and it's like, cool. So we fished around for a couple of hours, and we thought, we've got to take this back because we had it for 4 hours. So, it took us an hour to get out here, so we'll take an hour to get back.
Yeah.
So we started off and went back against the current.
Yeah.
And it took us about 3 hours to get back.
It did.
And so we had to pay a late fee. And it wasn't until we got there that we realized that you didn't pick the anchor up. And you dragged it for about 3 hours against the current.
That's right.
Oh, that poor little two-stroke engine.
Two-stroke. Just
working hard. There's about 3 kilometers of seaweed dragging behind us on the anchor.
It's like it moved at all.
Hey, do you guys watch DP Tour or the PGA? You watch much?
I'm totally committed to the DP World Tour. I'm more DP World Tour than PGA. I'm DP every day, all of the time. What I love about it is it's so international.
Yeah, I love that. You see the leaderboard. There's probably like 10 different nationalities on there.
Often you go, hang on a minute, I've got to look through the countries here that are represented, and you often got 10 different ones. But this week it was the week of the Danes. Thorn.
I got to say, Bjornburn Olesen.
I think it's Thorn Bjorn Olesen.
Damn it, he's handsome.
Yeah, you're a big fan.
He works out.
He works out.
He's got a beautiful stroke.
Good looking wrister, eh?
Very, very fit looking man, which is not always the golf physique.
No.
And then you've got the Hogart, is it Rasmus and the twins?
Nicholas, isn't it? Hogart?
Brilliant players.
Yeah. But one's in the PGA, right? One's in the DP.
Oh, is that right? I'm a massive Adrian Meronk fan. I think he's underrated. I really think he's underrated. How he didn't make the Ryder Cup team blew my mind. He is always on the leaderboard. Really, really like Adrian Meronk. I don't imagine there's many golf courses in Poland. So I think
it's a bigger country than you think. You'd be surprised.
That's true, isn't it? Yeah, there could be more than I realise, Chris. But he's a wonderful player, and his temperament, and he just seems to be always on the leaderboard. Massive Adrian Meronk fan, but the Danes have been going really well. So they're on the Middle Eastern. I don't know if it's correct language. They're on the Middle East.
They're in Bahrain this week.
Right. How did you? What are your thoughts on the DP World Tour, Ash and Chris?
My thoughts? I love the DP World Tour. Actually, as soon as this is over, I'm in there. I'm going to watch the DP first round. I love it. I love the nationalities. It's like you can play a little game. What country's that? I think the broadcast is better too. I think it's tempo.
100%,
it's better to watch. It's not so highlights. It's not so PGA highlight focused.
Yes.
You actually get to see them walk up to the ball and talk to the caddy, that sort of vibe. So I think Europeans do a much better sports broadcast across the board, really. You just have to look at the Tour de France and stuff like that. So I think the broadcast is fantastic. Big fan. I would rate that my favorite.
Olesen.
I picked him he's on my fantasy team, and I'll talk about it in a second, but he got me 540 points last week. He came first, obviously, with 27 under, really consistent. But I like him. He's a role model. He's a good-looking bloke. He's 38 or something. He's not young, but he plays beautifully.
Wow.
I also like the South African Xander Lombard. He's he sort of fell away in the last round. I also like Jens Dantorp from Sweden. And I've also in my fantasy team, did you know David Micheluzzi from Australia's there?
Yes.
He's playing over there now.
Yes, he is. I think last year he might have got a sort of a half exemption because I think the highest
something to do with the Australian PGA. He got some points there.
You get high in the Australian Order of Merit. I don't think you get a full exemption. I could be wrong there, a half exemption or something. But he's been going well, David Micheluzzi. But
he missed the cut in the last one, but I've got him. Hopefully, he does well this week.
Yeah, I'm a big Ryan Fox fan. Ryan Fox thumps the golf ball. That's the way I would describe his swing. He just walks up to it and thumps it. I would love to play golf like that.
I like his physique too.
Hey?
I like his physique.
Yes. He hits the ball with so much conviction. That's what I love about. I'd love to play like that. Imagine having the confidence just to walk up and go, I'm just going to thump this every time I see it.
What are your thoughts on? Oh, Chris, what about yourself? What do you like? Do you watch the DP much?
I'm probably more agnostic and probably more focused on signature events than the week to week. So, seeing that neither the PGA nor the DP World really was a signature event last week. The big guns weren't there, and as a fair weather golf TV consumer, I suppose. Certainly more looking to tune in when the big names are there, but certainly enjoyed the
majors, man, Chris. Majors.
I wouldn't say majors. I certainly enjoyed the
signature one.
The DP first two events, just because of the time slot, worked really well, being in Abu Dhabi and in, where was the other event? I can't remember, but in the Emirates as well. They were great to watch, and some of the golf was great. The contest between Tommy and Rory was fantastic. That was a great round, and Rory's come back the following week, to claim a victory was great as well. But as you can see, I don't have the depth and breadth. I kind of followed the big guns, and that's what gets my eyeballs when it comes to golf on the TV.
Nice.
Love it.
So, but I do know I've had some good discussions with you. You do know a little bit about the LPGA, right?
Nice.
I know you like
a little bit. The score, I do have a few fans, or how can I say, female golfers I follow, and obviously Nelly Court is one of them. She had a fantastic weekend, being able to win her hometown event in the LPGA. Absolutely, yes.
Peter Corder's daughter, right? Did Peter Corder win the Australian Open, or have I got that wrong?
He did. He did win the Australian Open. I think that was the only major that he won. But watching the LPGA, that was a great event. Came down to a playoff in the end. Nelly needed to. She was down 3 strokes with 2 holes to play. Eagled the 17th, birdied the 18th to force the playoff, and then it was a case of holding her nerve within the playoff to claim victory on the second hole. But watching that had a couple of interesting talking points because her
playoff. What was going on?
It was interesting.
What happened?
Both players, so it was a bit of a wash. It was Lydia on the first hole and Nelly on the second, but both of them found their ball long of the green and into the grandstand. Nelly's was under the grandstand and Lydia's was adjacent. And both, were given free relief under the temporary immovable obstructions.
That's what it was.
Ruling.
Because They were underneath the bleacher, by about 2 feet.
Nelly's ball was, yeah.
So did they bounce under? Did it bounce under?
Rolled under.
What was interesting, Lydia's rolled and rested right near the Victor's champagne that was on ice, and Nelly's rolled under the grandstand. So it was, both were completely unplayable. But
did you see that awesome Instagram clip of the guy next to the ball going, "Look at this, look at this," and the commentators sort of going, "Get out of it, get out of it."
That's really interesting, that situation, isn't it? And one of the things I think we're going to do in future episodes is sort of introduce a rule that confuses us or confounds us. Had an incident playing with another one of our ECG members who will join us on a future episode, is Isaac. We were playing together in comp on Sunday, 36 points.
Did you really?
Yeah, nice. Yep, I was happy with that. And is
36 points, yeah?
Yep, so I could sign his card. On the green, had marked his ball.
Yep.
Put his ball back down.
Yep.
Taking some putting. Well, he wasn't even taking practice strokes. Ball moved. So the putter connected with the ball.
Yeah.
But I'm almost certain that's not a penalty on the green because he hadn't addressed the ball.
No, so I think you'll find it would be a penalty. Did he take his marker away?
Yes. But I guess that's one for listeners to clarify, because I think on the green, if you don't address the ball, because I had a similar problem in my round. I think we get to the point when we get to, that's brilliant, Chris, is when we get to most embarrassing moments. I'm already going off script here, Ash, forgive me, but I actually had one on Sunday.
Tell me, I want to know, because you would have had a few in your time.
I have never done this before. I was on the tee with my driver. I've never done this before.
Yep.
Never done it.
I'm picturing this.
Made that clear.
I swung and missed it.
Yep.
I missed the ball. So that is a clearly.
Oh, like it wasn't a practice stroke. It was a swing and miss.
No, so that's a stroke. I'm certain
apparently
that's a stroke
it is.
because I've completed a swing. I didn't connect with the ball, but I completed a swing. I missed it, which I've never done before.
Yes, but I think there's a caveat there. If you're on the tee box, I still think if you're still on the tee box, it doesn't count. I think.
Okay, so there's one to clarify. So sorry, I took that off.
No, love it. If you do want to clarify, and you do,
you're giving me some homework, Damo. You're giving me some homework. I'll gladly have a look.
We do have the ECG Golf Club does have an official X account. It's ECG Hackers. So if you do know the answer to that, whack it on there.
Please tell us.
I'd love to know what the official ruling there is. Chris, who won the LPGA in the end? I think I cut you off.
Sorry, Chris. That was me.
No, it was all good, gents. It was Nelly. She ended up holding a nerve and winning on the second. But it was nice. It was interesting because had Lydia won, she would have qualified for the LPGA Hall of Fame. Which is kind of interesting in concept, being able to qualify while you're playing. And that was kind of like, well, hang on, how does that work? Obviously, I'm not familiar with what work goes on there, but in the LPGA, it's rather rooted. How can I say? It's formula based. You need to have acquired 27 points throughout your career, and those points are awarded essentially, 1 point for a tournament win, 2 points for a major win. You get 1 point if you're the player of the year. You get 1 point if you win an Olympic gold medal and so forth, and you accumulate all those. And obviously, Lydia Ko over, the past, 5 years has been one of the best and won a hell of a lot of golf tournaments and accumulated a lot of points. Obviously, she's sitting on 26. Right. Yeah. So I guess my question to you boys is, does this point system take away a little bit of the romance around who goes in and who doesn't go into the Hall of Fame, like you may hear with the baseball Hall of Fame in terms of those who don't make it first ballot and those kind of stories.
That's really.
I think
that's
that does take away from the romance because someone like Duffy Waldorf would never get it. You know, some of these guys, to me, the Hall of Fame's about fame just as much as about winning.
Nice.
You know,
It's about how you play the game as well. Is that there's intangible like your style, the way you play the game, your sports personship.
Yep.
It sounds. I was thinking, Ash. It sounds suspiciously like the counting system for Oak Hill Cricketer of the Year.
Actually, didn't all three of us win it?
I think we all have.
All three of us have won the Oak Hill College Cricketer of the Year.
You did.
All three of our names would be on that trophy somewhere.
That is.
What year were you, Dave?
I know that, Chris. I would have been 1984, 85.
I think I was 88.
Yep.
89.
I'm probably 92, 93, something,
Dude, that is sensational.
That is amazing.
You are looking at three bloody good junior cricketers.
Yeah. We all won Oak Hill College Cricketer of the Year. Where's the honour? Have they ever done an honour board for that one? Probably not. But
after we left, I think Chris is on the honour board at Oak Hill College, isn't he? You were the captain as well, weren't you?
Captain of first 11? And captain of first five. So first 11, first five. So up there twice.
Yeah, basketball.
You were first 11, first five double.
Yeah, you did the double.
That's pretty cool.
I only ever captained Thursday Sport, and that didn't count. Hey, before we move on,
you play in 2 state finals, and you played in 2 as well, Ash, didn't you?
Yes, and I won. Did I win 2 of them? Won 2 of them.
I lost both that I put. No, I lost all 3 that I played in. No,
I played in 3 and won 1 actually. Yeah. Anyway, but I digress.
I lose 2, and I think I lost all 3.
We're talking down. Is this Downey?
Downey Shield. Oh,
yes.
Downey Shield.
I was the year before I was captain. We won, so I got one victory, 1 final.
The year we won was 1990. Hamish McMahon was captain. Hamish Jamison was the captain. Grant McNamee, Matt Rippon, great cricket team.
A great catch in that final. I remember that.
Mate, I still don't remember seeing it. It was just pure reflex. But anyway, before we move on, there's a guy on the Australian tour. His name's Jake McLeod. Check him out. He's on Instagram at Jake McLeod. He's a great little character. I think he's currently in about equal lead in the Victorian Open in Australia. Great character. I've seen him carry his own bag around. I mean, these poor pros walk around with their own bag. And I think it looks weird. They have the little push carts too. To me, someone needs to just grab their bloody bag and carry it.
Help them out, please.
Help them out.
Surely
check out Jake McLeod.
Surely there's a member they can call up on these golf courses and say, does someone want to volunteer to help out with some yardages?
But do you need to be ticketed to carry a bag? Is there
that guy,
a caddies union or something?
Maybe.
There is, and I want to join it, but it's a very easy 4-hour course. But I don't think the guy wearing the Quicksilver T-shirt and board shorts 2 weeks ago at bloody wherever that was, Victoria, I don't think he was ticketed. He just grabbed the bag and went with it.
I gotta say, there's a bit of a charm to the Fox coverage of some of these, lower tier events where there's 1 or 2 cameras. They're calling it from the, the Foxtel base at our time, and
or whatever.
there's something about it. I don't know what it is. I think it's taking golf back to the roots, like you said.
Yes,
you've got great Australian players trying to make their way up into the signature events. People pulling their own, pushing their own bag, calling, monitoring their own yardage, and it's just good to watch. A small gallery enjoying it, getting as close as you absolutely can to the players.
There's no fence. It reminds me. I've got a very, very vague memory, Ash and Chris, of being quite young, probably very early teens, and ABC had coverage of the Tasmanian Open at Royal Hobart, but I reckon they only showed 1 hole. They just constantly showed the one hole.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is
that's
what it's
probably.
like the Fox Talk sports coverage is like, isn't it? It's lucky if you get 2 or 3 holes coverage.
But I actually like that. I actually like to see the camera turn around and see the tee shot from where you would be on the fairway. I actually don't mind that every now and then. Because you can actually see the flight of the ball and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's where I think the PGA in America, their broadcast is a little bit too polished. And it's too much TrackMan and this and highlight based, where I actually feel like you're there, and it's a bit more personality in the Australian PGA. That's why I like this Jake McLeod. But check him out. I hope he does really well. He's only a young bloke, but I hope he does really well.
You're a big fan.
When I head up to the Castle Hill Country Club in a week's time, I'll pass on your best.
Oh yes, please
what
do.
What are you doing up there?
Well, that's where the next event is. I think over the next weekend is one of the. It's not the second tier on the Australasia PGA Tour.
Nice.
They've got an event there. So
back at Castle Hill. Good to hear. Oh.
Now, something we want to do every week on the ECG Golf Club Hackers podcast is a little segment we're going to call Been There, Hack That. So you've been there, hack that. It's about golf courses we've played, golf courses memorable or whatnot. So for this week's Been There, Hack That, I want all three of us to just have a little chat about Sawtel Golf Course. We've all played there. So Sawtel, New South Wales, it's about 400 kilometres south of Brizzy. It's a 71 par golf course with a slope rating of 133, which is pretty high. Par 71. It is a lovely golf course that we played back in November together for my 50th golf celebration weekend. I got to say, I really enjoyed it. What did you think of Sawtel Golf Course, boys?
It's on Gumbanya country as well. Beautiful part of the world up there, isn't it? It ain't no Bonneville.
No.
But Bonneville was quite pricey, actually. It was sort of a bit out of...
It was.
not easy to get on the days we needed to get there. So very happy to play Sawtel. I want to say it was a very welcoming golf course. The fellas in the pro shop were lovely.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah,
nice blokes in the pro shop. Hilly, it would have been a tough walk.
It would have
especially
been.
with no Achilles heel. I can't go back there for a while.
No, you can't.
But no, Damo and I shared a cart.
We did.
We were playing a 2-ball, weren't we? 2-ball best ball. So it was you two were together, weren't you? And I was with Dooley, who you'll meet one day soon. But so it was quite hilly. We had golf carts, thank God. Started off there. It was hot and humid. I remember it started off.
Yeah.
Then it got windy. About 3 holes in, the wind stuck around for a while, and then it started raining. So we had a little bit of everything at Sawtel.
Yeah.
I remember the fairways were very good. I remember the greens being excellent.
It
was a little bit very green. It was very lush at the time. There was an awesome couple of holes. There was one down along a train track, which I really enjoyed. I thought that had a nice atmosphere to it, and a train went past the old XBT.
It's definitely on the XBT line. Yep.
Yeah, the XBT line. But there was one hole in particular, epic moment in my memory of golf. It must have been about the 13th hole, boys. You know what I'm talking about? The elevated.
It was on the back nine. Certainly on the back nine.
Must have been about the 13th hole. Actually, let's rewind about 45 minutes earlier. Actually, after we finished the 9 holes, Chris and Damo, I remember saying, you're hungry? He said, yeah, I'll have something to eat. I'll go grab some pies. The worst bloody pies in golf history.
That's not great.
It was bloody awful. And there's nothing worse than a cold bloody pie, especially when you're on the golf course. So I remember I went and ran in. Lovely ladies, lovely guys there. Nothing against them. But they gave me 4 cold pies. And I remember going up to Chris, giving you one. And I saw you eat it.
Was it too early? So, what time was that? Sort of 11.
The Baie Marie was not warm, boys. Whoever looks after that Baie Marie there, they know how it works, and they would have nodded at me and gone, "No, don't take it." They were bloody
Turn it on.
cold.
Turn on early.
Not-
Is the lesson there? Never go for a pie before midday.
Probably.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yep. Never buy a golf course pie before midday. I think that's a good rule.
Oh, I think you're absolutely spot on. How stupid of me to think that. We had an early tea time. It would have only been 10 o'clock. Hey.
I mean, that thing takes a while to get going, doesn't it?
Oh, and it's probably been that heater's probably been sitting there for 30 years. Anyway, it really did take the edge off. Sorry about that, Chris. To this day, I feel bad about that. I remember looking around you going at that cold pie. Anyway, back to the 13th hole.
It's one of those situations, though, Ash, where you've got to follow through and eat the pie, though, haven't you? Like, you're not going to chuck it.
No.
You know, I saw you eat.
What I thought to myself, well, it's just cold gravy and cooked mince. You know, it's just cold gravy, cooked mince. And a bit of pastry. It's all right.
How bad can it be?
Someone's already cooked it. Anyway, we'll go back to the 13th hole. So the 13th hole was this. We're getting a bit fatigued at the time. The wind was really quite strong, and the wind was going from left to right. It's an elevated tee, very elevated. One of the very elevated tees I've ever played, and you're hitting a par 4. On the right-hand side of the whole course at this point, this is bordering on Tindara Drive in Sawtel. So Tindara Drive down here had a lot of lovely old 1950s, 1960s red brick houses, some old houses. So we're sitting on the elevated tee, looking down, a lot of houses on the right.
Yeah.
And I was first to tee. I had the honor. So it was the last round I played the Strixon driver. Sorry, no, the Talamar R7 driver. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I did pump it down the middle of the fairway. Pumped it down middle of the fairway, and then sort of said, "Okay, over to you, boys." And what I witnessed for the next, I don't know, it must have been 7 or 8 minutes, was historical. By this stage, we'd turned into a 6-ball group. I think we all merged together, so there's 6 of us.
Because we were far enough away from the clubhouse to be able to move.
You weren't impeding others.
And, you know, we're way up the other side. Wind is howling left to right. I do have a pretty low driver. Mine, I hit them pretty low, so mine went on the follow. Dooley was up next, I believe. Dooley is known to he hits it hard, but he does, swing plane tends to push it right a little bit, and he is known to get a bit of accent on his ball, whether it is slice or whether it's hook. Dooley was
left field.
Yeah. Dooley pumped one, sliced the bejesus out of it, went right with the wind pushing it
further right,
the air, lost vision of it, out of bounds.
Yeah.
Then I think Rand was next, up on the tee, pumped it, sliced it, out of bounds, but we're sitting there waiting, and we could hear the ball.
Because Rand hits a long ball.
Yeah, he hits a long ball. It was so high and long that we had enough time to sort of sit there cringing, like, oh shit, this is fucking hit something. And it cracked into some roof tiles, and it sounded like terracotta cracking.
Yes.
And then I think Iz went next, and he sliced one into the same vicinity. These poor houses down there on Harrison Street, I tell you what, their roofs have got a lot of dings in it. Do you remember this, boys? Surely you do.
Yeah, it was disturbing.
100%.
It was disturbing.
It was.
Still disturbing.
How did you hit it? What was your shot?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know.
I certainly wasn't down the middle.
Yeah. I don't think.
I remember the provisional ball that everyone played also went over there.
No, it's bad.
So Dooley, Isaac ran hitting more over into the air.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until we got down there on those houses on Harrison Street that I saw some bloody solar panels on the roofs and stuff, man.
Oh,
what are you doing putting solar panels on the roof when you're living next to an elevated tee golf course?
Yeah.
With your house, basically. I mean, that's just stupidity, really.
Or hopefully the golf course has a really good insurance policy, because there was a lot of missing tiles on those roofs. So, we made a terrible contribution there. It was quite. I mean, I'm still disturbed. In fact, in my sleep, I hear that sound. of smashing
terracotta sound. And when you got down there, I remember we went to go find someone's ball, and these guys must just be in the firing line every day on that course. These people in the houses, they had piles of terracotta tiles in the backyard just to replace the ones that have just broken. So it must be a common recurrence.
Some of them even had the tiles already on the roof. Like those who were really prepared, they had stacked on top of the roof 6 or 7 there, ready to replace tiles as they were cracked. So some of the more braver residents were going to get on their roof to make the switch of the cracked tile. But
wow, that's hard.
Yeah, not our finest hour, but what's our motto, Ash? Tee it up. We certainly teed it up. We weren't afraid to face those conditions head on, and unfortunately, probably a few cracked roof tiles as a result.
I think so.
Yeah.
What about Damo? You were talking to me earlier about why you love golf and why you love playing, and we were talking about, especially as I'm 50 now, so I've hit my 50s, and I love golf probably more than I ever have. But what is it about golf you were talking about before that you really enjoy the most now?
That's a good question, Ash. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's easily the hardest sport you can play. I don't think that's a question. I think everyone, even the great players, would say that. The challenge of it. I love being outdoors. It gets you outdoors. It's a fascinating sport, because it's a bit like cricket, because there's not much game time. So there's a lot of downtime in golf. And like cricket, like if you actually added up, I think someone did that once, and then the actual amount of play time in a day's cricket is not that much,
Right.
And golf's exactly the same. There's not that much play time. You don't take that, you swing the club and maybe that's 30 seconds.
That's a really good point, Dame. I think that's what makes that's what is really enjoyable about golf. It's the lead up. It's the head games you're going through. It's
it's traumatic.
It can be. I actually, even if I hit a bad shot these days, I still enjoy it. It's just golf. And I think the more I enjoy it now is because I just love, like you said, being outside, the birds, the sunshine, the smell of the grass, and when you can play with mates, that's amazing.
Yeah. Chris, why do you love golf? Chris, you're probably the newest regular player. What do you like about it?
Yes, certainly the newest. My golfing career is probably 4 months. So clearly not the the experience and the like that you have. But
I really enjoyed playing with you, Chris. You're one of my favourites to play with.
So
appreciate that. But look, from my perspective, I'm probably echoing some of the thoughts that Damo has already provided. It's really that social aspect. We as a group of connected over many different things throughout. Our association with one another. And as a lot of, us are getting older and we've hung up, basketball boots and, tennis rackets and other things. Everyone's kind of gravitated towards golf, and I'm probably one of the last ones to do so. So I've got a bit of work to catch up to you guys in terms of handicaps and all those kind of things, but in terms of the pure enjoyment, being outside, talking trash, the banter, the occasional good shot, it's enough to bring it's enough to bring you back, and enough to keep me plugging away and trying to become a better player. And I've certainly enjoyed my time on the course, and that's certainly been enhanced playing with gentlemen like yourself.
I think your short game is bloody lovely, Chris.
Yeah, touch player. Lovely touch player.
Cheers. I try and let the club do all the work, but it's
what
one of the.
What clubs are you using, Chris?
I'm probably. I'm probably a diehard Mizuno fanboy, and that probably goes back to my early days watching, Nick Faldo and Tiger as an amateur.
Nice.
They were both proponents of the Mizuno blade, and now I'm a bit older with a little disposable income. I've gone, you know what, I'll grab those too. So yeah, on the Japanese bandwagon. So that's what I'm rocking at the moment. And so far,
you sourced yours from overseas, didn't you, Chris? Is that right?
I bought some I have a mixed bag. I've got some new irons and a mix of wedges and woods and hybrids that I've cherry picked off eBay. But yeah, as with most new players, part of the fun's filling that bag, and I've certainly had a lot of fun doing that.
Do you have a preferred ball?
I don't. I don't believe I'm a good enough golfer to know the difference between a mid-range ball and a premium ball. So I stick to the mid-market stuff. Certainly know what a bad ball feels like. Certainly don't want any of those one-piece jobs. But but at the moment, I like rocking an orange ball just so I'm a little bit different to all those on the course.
Yeah,
and you look sharp on the course, Dame. You look sharp, didn't he?
I always looks good. I mean,
sharp dressed man.
For listeners, Chris has just completed a marathon not so long ago, so looking beautiful, looking nice and fit. Puts
touch of Mario Brothers too.
Plenty on the upper lip, but yeah, look,
it suits you, mate. It suits you.
But that's part of the fun too. I won't lie. I don't mind putting on the old
exactly.
Collared shirt and at least looking the part when on the course. So
for sure.
Sorry.
That has to be a conversation for a future episode as well, like golf fashion. As my belly gets bigger, it's harder for me to keep my shirt tucked in. But I really respect that I should. So but that's a future episode as well, isn't it? Like golf, because golf fashion can be terrible. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up playing golf. If you ever wore shorts, you had to wear knee-length socks.
Yes.
So I've been scarred by that. I just feel really weird wearing shorts on the golf course now.
Yeah.
I remember I played at Lane Cove Golf Course once, and I had a pair of shorts on, and I didn't have long socks, and I had to spend $20 on a pair of socks just so I could play.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was it. Times have changed. You had to have long socks at Mungry.
Yeah, you did.
Raw Mungry was long socks or tell your story walking, really. So
it was. Hey, Dame, you use Mizuno clubs too, don't you?
I do, and I really like them. I don't know how to find clubs, so I was just sold them by the guy at golf. They felt good to me. That's another thing I'd like to talk about in a future episode, Ash, is golf fittings. Like, so when you go to a golf fitting, you're only going to that brand's golf fitting, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
How do you do a golf fitting where you want to go, say, 10 different brands? You actually can't, can you?
No, it's just
there are ways to do it. There are ways to do it.
I suppose what you do is you don't do what I do, because I'm a sucker for a good sale. So if the guy says they're great clubs, you're swinging them great, I'll buy them right there and then. What I should do is I'll come back to you after I've had a crack with the Titleist and the TaylorMades, actually. It's actually on me. It's actually on me. I should go, no, hang on a minute.
How many of these fitting days have you bought clubs at?
Yeah.
3 or 4?
I've only been
because you do come up. I have seen you've only been at 3, but you've bought one every time.
3 different sets. Yeah, stupid, eh?
And 3 different manufacturers. I think it was TaylorMade, Frickson, and Mizuno. I love it. Carnegie Clark. Oh, shit.
Australian brand. Don't forget that.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, thanks for that. That was a nice little reflection on Sawtel Golf Course. In all seriousness, I would recommend it. It was only $40 for 18 holes. It was lovely golf carts, must. It's too hilly. great course. Really enjoyed it, and I
Beautiful.
do look forward to heading back there hopefully next year sometime. We did stay at Pacific Bay as a group for my 50th too. And they had a really cute little 9-hole par 3 course there. And I had a lot of fun with you guys. We went out and played to see how low under par we could score together as a group when we played best ball. And I think we did 3 under par. I mean, for us,
something like that sounds about right.
Us hacks, that was fun. I really enjoyed that. And I'm going to take my son Zuma down there soon and let him have a crack at a par 3 course for one of his first ever courses to play. We're running out of a bit of time. So what I did want to talk about really quickly, I love golf. I'm addicted to golf. It's the whole thing. It's the balls, the clubs, the hats, and then there's playing the game as well. But also, I've always loved playing video games as well. Grew up with the Commodore 64. I just wanted to mention, maybe every week I'll throw one of these games in. Do you guys remember? You're too young, Chris, but you may have had a crack at this somewhere. Do you remember leaderboard golf on the Commodore 64?
I remember it on the IBM. I remember it as a green screen or a Hercules graphics or something like that. It was all green or it was all orange, but and tapping that space bar to get your swing power meter and all that kind of stuff. Remember it well.
Well. That was probably one of the best golf games for years. And there was 3 settings. I remember there was like novice, pro, or novice, amateur, and pro. And we used to always play on pro because the wind used to make it. So basically every time you hit the ball, it would be like this massive hook or slide. Remember? Yeah. So you had to like aim like 60 degrees to the right just to get the ball land on that island.
Yes,
it was a great game. Probably one of the best golf games ever.
It was like stepping stones too, Like
little islands in the water.
Stepping stones to get to the hole.
Yeah, that was fun, man. That was back in 1986, I think. I remember on the C64.
If you played enough and couldn't break 60, you'd be pretty disappointed.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's been so much fun talking to you boys. A couple of things I want to talk about. What's happening this week? Are you playing golf? Are you getting out to the range? What's happening?
For me, I won't get to play this weekend. I will have a hit with Jace next weekend. Chris, you're very welcome to join us. So no golf for me this week. I had a hit last weekend, but looking forward to having a hit next weekend. And Ash and I have the Central Coast Masters rapidly getting closer, and hopefully your Achilles will be okay, Ash, because that's going to be 2 days. One day, the first day at Magenta Shores, which I can't wait for. That's going to be. I think Magenta might be in top 20 in the country now. And then Coinda Waters isn't a bad golf course either. So looking forward to that. That's rapidly approaching.
Mate, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for that.
I have a Taylor Swift concert to go to as well with my daughter, which I'm looking forward to in Melbourne in a couple of weeks. But
You're a lucky man to get tickets.
Oh, yeah. Did well.
You say golf clubs?
No, that's for me. Sorry, Chris. You go. Your golfing adventures the next couple of weeks?
I had a pretty full weekend of golf last weekend, and whilst during this podcast I've been texting trying to sort out where I am going to play this weekend, but that may well either be Balgala or down at the Ridge or at North Ryde. So I'll keep you posted.
North Ryde.
Yeah.
I am actually going to head out and play golf myself, boys. I'm going to get around in at Palmer Gold Coast, which is the old Robina Woods. It's looking nice and lush down there at the moment. They haven't had a lot of mowing, I think. It's been so wet up here, man. It's been so hot and wet. A lot of the driving ranges have been closed. I love the driving ranges up here because they're all grass. There's no TrackMan up here anywhere. So it's kind of sucks. But I am going to head out. For anyone listening, I severed my bloody Achilles tendon. So it's been 7 weeks now, and I still can't walk, but I can swing a golf club. So I'm going to get in the golf cart this weekend and play that. And I'm thinking about joining Golf 24 as well, which is that indoor TrackMan group. They've got a membership, $79, and that gets you 24 hours access. And then it's like $50 for an hour. So I thought, well, I can't walk, so maybe I can play golf indoors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez, I hope
So
that
this-
heals for you soon.
What's that, Barney? What's that,
I hope,
brother?
I hope it heals for you soon. That's really not good.
Totally.
Me too, mate.
know
So
what's-
coming up,
Great. My last little thing. It's been so great to share an evening with two other fellow Oak cricketers of the year. So
nice. It has been. Hey, well, that wraps up another episode of the ECG Golf Club Hackers podcast. We've had the president with us, Damain Griffis. Head back to your best car park in the yard. And
Thanks,
obviously, thanks for your insights, Chris Sonego, the Bursar of the ECG Golf Club. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man.
awesome, Chris.
Cheers, gentlemen. It's been great.
Good
Now
night.
we'll be back. We'll be back next week. If you want to join the conversation, we're on Twitter or X at ECG Hackers. We're also on Instagram at ECG Hackers as well. But thanks very much, guys. I'll see you next week. Peace. I'm at 19th hole. Here I come.
Good night.